All right, this is not the night to overreact, but the season is over.
It's
That was
over. It is
embarrassment.
over.
Wow. I mean, that was embarrassing. There's
Fire
no
everybody.
need to overreact. We're going to react to this. Okay. They're 2-2 since the deadline. They lose game one. This was not pretty. I mean, this was the opposite of pretty. And JP Sears did not look good. And Brandon Pfaadt looked like Brandon Webb tonight against the Padres. So some of the issues that we talked about in the first half of the year popping up here today. Offense, again, scoring just 2 runs. But we'll react to it all over the next hour. Make your way in. Subscribe. Year-on content for you. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on X, at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We appreciate your super chats. We really do. If you want to support our work in this channel, if you want to see your comment on screen, click the $ below the chat box. If you want to become a member and get the brand new custom emojis, and there's not one for JP Sears, and he's not getting one for a while. He's got to pitch better than that. But if you want the new emojis, you can click the join button down below. A 6-2 loss. Obviously, Sears was roughed up as he was just hit hard throughout the course of this game. And then essentially the game was over. I mean, the Padres threatened there. They made it 5-2. They had the tying run at the plate when Ryan O'Hearn pinch hit and flat out to medium deep right field. And then Arizona tacked on with a home run and won it 6-2. So game one goes to the Diamondbacks. I don't think there's any reason to fully overreact to it. But the Padres do lose game one after taking a series from St. Louis. We'll see if they can win this series by winning each of the next 2 nights in the desert, Jim.
Well, according to social media, this team is ass, and I can't believe everyone got their hopes up, and this team is going to lose out, fire Victor Rodriguez, shoot JP Sears to the sun, and what else? Yuki Matsui get off this team because he's awful. What else from tonight?
Xander Bogarts is the worst contract in baseball history.
Yeah, Xander sucks again. Tatis has no power.
Did you say Tatis can't hit for power?
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, so Tatis also can't hit for power. Is that it? Anything else?
No, there's definitely more. Hold on, before we start, because there's a lot of reaction tonight. I want to thank Par 3's Club for his generosity with the membership. He's gifted another 5 memberships, which means 5 of you right now with us live have just become members of the wrap-up show. And what that means is you get some custom emojis, including the 5 Guys, Rockstar GM, and Miller Time, and Cortez the Killer emojis. Yes, there's a Cortez the Killer emoji.
We'll be able to use that Wednesday, either good or bad.
Exactly, 100%. And I also want to thank Jose over at Par 3's Club for his generosity, because he sent us some cool T-shirts. I'm rocking one right now, and Jim's got one as well.
Mine's in my bedroom.
Look at this thing. Check out par3s.club to check out his website. Okay, I mean, this is a beautiful T-shirt. Seriously, this is awesome for Padres fans. Par3s.club to check it out. And this one, it's not going to be tonight, but we're giving this away. Okay, it's not going to be tonight, but we are giving this away. So make sure to subscribe to this channel. We'll let you know how you can win this T-shirt from our buddy Jose at par3s.club. We're rocking it right now. He's been very generous to the channel, and please support him by checking out his website. So anyway, if you want to become a member, if you want to give memberships, you can click that join button down below. But I'm trying to think. I mean, when you fall behind by 4 or 5 runs, you're putting yourself in a tough spot, even against Arizona's bullpen, even against Brandon Pfaadt, who had not pitched well this year, but he has now pitched well against the San Diego Padres. So I don't know what you do. Chalk it up. One of those nights, running into a pitcher that has pitched well against you for whatever reason. And JP Sears, I'm not going to overreact to that either, Jim. I think he's going to spend some time, obviously, in AAA this year. They've got Cortez. They'll get Michael King back. He's got to pitch better than this. It was essentially BP for Arizona out there tonight. And yeah, not an encouraging first start for JP Sears is what I would say.
You would think if Nestor Cortez pitches well, he doesn't have to be lights out on Wednesday, but if he just pitches well, the move is JP Sears sent down, Michael King reinstated, put back in the rotation, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think Sears could go down tomorrow, just add a reliever.
Probably. It would make sense, especially if you're planning on having Michael King pitch this weekend, which it sounds like they are. It was news to everybody today that Schulte let that one slip, but apparently they're scheduled, or they're it's a what do you say? It's dark penciled in that Michael King will be pitching this weekend for the Padres. Bigger picture, look, we'll be talking about the Leo DeVries trade for a long time. A long time, right? Depending on what Leo DeVries does in his career with the Athletics, and especially what Mason Miller and this team and JP Sears does, in the foreseeable future. If Mason Miller's lights out in the postseason and he's out there throwing 104, striking everybody out, helps Padres get to and win a World Series, then that trade, if Leo DeVries turns into a star, it won't hurt as much, because guess what? Every Padres fan will get to look at a World Series trophy every time they go to Petco Park. But man, I did not like what I saw from JP Sears tonight. Just like stuff-wise, I'm like, 91, 92.
Those right down the middle.
Yeah, not much movement. There's a reason why the guy's got over a 5 ERA this year. Look, do I see it with JP Sears after one start? No, but the good thing is it's only one start. And they'll obviously work with him, and they'll hopefully figure some stuff out. But I'd much rather have preferred they just kept Kolek and Burgert instead of trading those two away for Freddy Fine. That's just me personally.
I feel like it's too early to know. You might be spot on, but
Freddy Fine could turn out to be a fine player for this team. Like catching wise, and is he a massive upgrade over Martin Maldonado? Yeah, you could argue for sure that. I mean, anybody feels like an upgrade over Martin Maldonado unless you're Luis Campusano. But I'm just like, did they really have to make that deal? Because, I mean, Burgert and Kolek, I don't know, man. Ryan Burgert and Stephen Kolek, much better than JP. I know it's one star for JP Sears. I'm probably going over the top here, but like, I don't know, man.
I think
but JP Sears is no Ryan Burgert. I can tell you that.
Well, are Ryan Burgert or Stephen Kolek pitching for this team in the postseason? I think we're kind of missing the point, because Fermin is going to start every game theoretically in the postseason, and Kolek and Burgert weren't going to appear by and large.
I'm looking
barring something we're unaware of.
I'm just
in the
looking
postseason.
at
So to me, you've upgraded a catcher for guys that weren't going to impact you in the postseason, and it's not like Burgert and Kolek weren't replaced. You might be right on Sears. We'll see. It's one start, but like maybe Nestor Cortez is better than Sears. And maybe Michael King, when healthy with Darvish, and a lot of maybes, but I don't feel as if Kolek and Burgert in the short term are not replaceable. And I also feel as if they really thought they had to upgrade a catcher to win. Now we'll see if that's proven out or not. But I think by getting an everyday catcher in your playoff lineup for guys that weren't going to even potentially be on your postseason roster, I get the thinking, is what I'm saying. Is it risky? Absolutely. But I kind of understand philosophically, I think, what they were doing, which is upgrade their lineup and then backfill the rotation, the guys that they shipped out to Kansas City.
I agree. If those two pitchers were still on the team and this team make the postseason, they're not pitching in game 3 of the NLCS or game 3 of the DS.
Yep.
I understand
just like these
that.
guys aren't either.
The thing is, like, Stephen Kolek and especially Ryan Burgert, they are, the pitchers that you need to help you get to the postseason. They're not flashy. They're not going to be pitching in game 1 or 2 for you, but you need them in 162 to get to the postseason. I just feel, and again, it's one start. Okay. But I just didn't like what I saw from JP Sears tonight. I just didn't. What it feels like to me now, seeing JP Sears on the mound in a Padres uniform, and I felt this way last Thursday as well. AJ was so hell-bent on trying to upgrade every single area of need and every weakness on this team that he decided, you know what, the trade for Fermin was a complete overpay. Would you agree?
How would I know? It's been 4 games.
I think
I don't know.
I think in the moment, AJ's like, screw it. I need to upgrade. Like, screw it. I don't care. I'm just overpaying. I need to upgrade this position. And I'm not going to say it's going to come back and bite them in the butt, but I mean, it was just disappointing tonight to see, like, you traded away Ryan Bergert, who's having a pretty nice season. Steven Kolek was doing fine, but you trade away those 2 guys, and one of the players that you put in the rotation for right now, JP Sears, he just looked like blah.
Let's take a deep breath. And I agree with what you're saying. I get the premise, but we don't know what Freddy Fine is going to mean. And it could be good, bad, or indifferent. It could be a serious upgrade. It could be a minimal upgrade. It could be a down. We have no idea. And we also don't know whether Sears and or Cortez will pitch effectively or not. Like, that is not determined based on JP Sears' Padres debut. He didn't pitch well today, but I've watched Dylan Cease not pitch well occasionally, and so on and so forth. Yu Darvish would be in that conversation. It's different, but I'm just saying I think it's probably too early to jump to any conclusion on any of these trades.
I'm not
any of them.
I'm not saying definitively. I'm just saying, even in the moment, it felt like a massive overpay, and you're running a little bit of a risk here.
Yeah, man. I don't know about massive.
I think it's okay, fine. It's an overpay. You got rid of 2 pitchers that were pitching well for you,
right?
For a catcher hitting what? He's 260. Okay, it's an upgrade. And he's now your everyday catcher
for years, theoretically.
For years. Pitching's the most important thing. Yeah, man. I
mean, it's not like the rotation is, again, I think the rotation is going to be fine. And I'm with you. I think Kolek and Bergert are the type of pitchers to get you to the postseason. And if they don't get there, I'll second guess the hell out of it at that point. But there's no reason to think, just based on tonight, that they don't have the pitching necessary to guide them to the postseason. I think that's a fair statement.
Well,
isn't that fair?
What I'm trying to get at is, it's not just that Freddy Fine deal by losing Kolek and Bergert. It goes back to another large, big picture thinking of, like, the Leo DeVries, Mason Miller trade and JP Sears. Like, I know it's a 1-game thing, and I'm just thinking about it. I mean, you have to ask the question, like, hey, long term, is this going to prove out to help and be worth it for you? We'll see.
Stay tuned. 100%. I mean, the Leo DeVries trade is a big, high risk trade, and it's never going to be known as the JP Sears deal, right? No. It's always going to be known either as the DeVries deal or the Miller deal, or some combination of. I mean, you're betting on Sears, his future and his ability. I mean, Ruben Niebla hasn't even worked with this pitcher, presumably, as of yet. And I would guess he's going to spend a good amount of time in AAA through the remainder of the year. And the Padres have some options with Randy Vasquez and now Nestor Cortez. But to me, it's going to be based on the long term with both Miller and DeVries. And you're right, you're going to have to win at a very high level. The Padres will collectively have to win at a high level because they traded away their top prospect, whether that's in 2025 or 2026. But Sears, for me, and you feel the same way. I mean, it clearly is never a centerpiece of this. I didn't know when we would expect to see him, truthfully, and all of a sudden he was going to start on this Monday night because of circumstance with Randy Vasquez sent down. But I'll be honest, I don't have any strong reaction to it. I really don't. I thought he looked terrible. I mean, I think that's a factual statement. It's just one start.
I'm not having a strong reaction either. I'm just asking questions, and I'm just going through the thought process, and I'm just thinking, like, if this guy doesn't look good, then this guy, and then you're like, you made this deal, and it's like a butterfly effect with all the trades the Padres made last week, and going down the paths of, like, if X doesn't happen, then man, that's going to look bad. And you're just like, well, I hope this player then is good, and I hope this player is then good, because if this player's not good, and trading away these players, that's going to hurt you. It's just, those are the big questions I'm asking just after seeing what I saw from JP Sears tonight. And to me, like thinking that after watching JP Sears, I don't know. That doesn't bode well for me. That I thought that's the first thing I thought of when I watched JP Sears tonight. I'm like, ugh, that's rough.
It wasn't good, but I'm not going to make any broad jump yet. I just think it's too early, and we'll see. I mean, it could be 100%. I mean, the questions could be 100% spot on, or they could be misguided, depending on how those trades look over the short term and the long term.
We might not see him again if King replaces him. That's the thing. It's
which is fine.
That's just fine. But at the same time, don't you want to see the pretty big return? And maybe Mason Miller gives that to you. Maybe Mason Miller is like, yo, holy shit, this guy's fucking lights out for you.
Yeah, no, I don't care. I don't care if we don't see JP Sears again until 2027 if they're winning. And I think most people feel the same. And JP Sears was never a centerpiece of this trade. He was depth for the rotation.
He's an add-on. Yeah, he's a depth.
Which is what we said in real time, and I'll say it now. I expected him to pitch better than this, but he was never a centerpiece of this trade. Yeah. Rocket Skates, thank you, man, for the first super of the night. Guys, if you are here, subscribe. You're on content for Padres fans. Smash that like button for us, and thank you for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. Thank you for your memberships as well. If you want to click join down below. He says, can't get over the fact that we could have had Laureano and O'Hearn without losing DeVries. How important is Miller when we already had the best bullpen? Again, we're going down these interesting, sliding glass door futures and choose your own adventures. Not as interesting. I mean, Laureano and O'Hearn had nothing to do with that trade. Mm-hmm. We've only seen Mason Miller, appear in one game. Is that right?
Yep.
To this point. And of course, DeVries isn't going to appear in the major leagues until the earliest in 2026. So I just feel like, again, I get all the opinion. I had strong opinions the day of the deadline too. I think it's too early to lament trading DeVries and lament adding Mason Miller. We just got to see what happens, and then we'll make the conclusion jumping. How important is Miller? We don't know. How important is Mason Miller? I don't know yet. I'm going to find out. I promise you that. But as of today, I can't tell you how important he's going to be to this team or moving forward because I just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I just think and we don't even know what DeVries is going to be. We're just all assuming he's going to be the greatest player since Alex Rodriguez or something.
A-Rod. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So we don't know. And we won't know until
it'll be a while.
3 years down the line, right? That's why the James Wood thing kind of hit even harder this year is because he's turned into an all-star. Turned into one of the best young players in the sport.
Right.
But anyway, that's just kind of what I thought of. Initially tonight, I'm like, man, I hope Miller pays off because JP Sears doesn't feel like he's going to pay off in the immediate.
I just thought it was a typical shit show of a game for the Padres in Arizona.
That too.
That's what I thought. I'm like, I still look at their lineup with Marte in there and freaking Corbin Carroll and these veteran hitters, and I'm like, it's good enough. And I don't think their pitching is good. And I think that's more in the Padres offense tonight. But the fact that Arizona scored at home tonight against a mid-starting pitcher should come as no surprise. What is a little bit surprising is the Padres could do nothing against Fott and the bullpen. That to me was a little bit surprising based on how the offense had been playing. JD's third, thank you, man, for the super. He says, runners in scoring position still a major issue. No consistency with the offense. Focus shouldn't be on pitching. Scoring 2 runs on a team that waved the white flag is yuck. And again, over the second half of the year here, it's not like the teams that waved white flags are going to win 10% of the time, and the teams that went all in are going to win 90% of the time. These are still Major League Baseball teams, and they're good enough to win 40% of the time, you would think, teams like St. Louis and Arizona. But yeah, I mean, I think the offense tonight is probably at least as big of a story. Yes, Sears because it's debut, of course. But I think the offense is as big of a story in one game because, I mean, just look at the top of the first inning. First and second, nobody out. They don't score. A little bit of a microcosm of some of the stuff we saw in the first half of the year.
I could also just ring it up to Brandon Fott this year against the Padres, John, has pitched 13 and 2/3 innings, allowing, 4 earned runs. He's been, and for a guy with a 5 ERA this year, to have that against a certain team, that's pretty good.
He's been good, yeah.
He went 8 innings the last start against the Padres here at Petco Park. It was a career high in innings for him. Only gave up 2 earned runs that game, 4 strikeouts, no walks. And then tonight, 5 2/3, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Wasn't like the best outing of the world, but it's pretty solid. I mean, you'd take that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have loved that from JP Sears tonight.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Like, oh my God, that'd be amazing. That'd be like a career night for JP Sears, it feels like. So, yeah, chalk it up to, they struggle and have struggled this year against Brandon Pfaadt. Offense didn't really do all that much. Arise, his hitting streak comes to an end. Bogarts having a great year, right, John?
Do it. He takes his first 0-for since when? Do it. Go all in on Bogarts. You've been waiting for this.
I'm not going in on Bogarts. What do you want me to say?
Okay.
I've said almost everything I need to say about Bogarts. Bogarts needs to go out there and just produce. And right now, if you're looking at production from Xander Bogarts, John, the dude has what is it? Yeah, he's got 38 RBIs on the season and 401 at bats, hitting 5th in the lineup. So it is what it is.
Do it.
Do what? I'm just giving you facts. Guy has less than 40 RBIs in over 400 at bats this year, and he's hitting in the middle of the lineup.
That is a fact. I'll give you another fact. He's hitting well over 300 in his last 30 games.
That's great. How many RBIs does he have?
Again, I mean, he's not going to drive in 100. We've talked about this. Are we asking for him really to?
When you're hitting 5th in the lineup, John, you got to drive
I
and
agree
run.
He's got to do more. I 100% agree he's got to do more. But listen, Xander failed to come through in the first inning with runners in scoring position. So I'm with you on that. And he had another opportunity, I think, later in this game with runners in scoring position. So I agree with you on that. But this isn't the game I'm like, Bogarts.
I'm not either. I'm not either. I'm just pointing out. I'm not going to go all in on Xander tonight. I'm just pointing out an 0 for tonight with Xander. Once again, does not come through with runners in scoring position. Once again, his numbers this year with runners in scoring position, John, continue to be awful. They are. Let me just hear. It's runners in scoring position this year. He's hitting 154 with a 494 OPS. That's great. He's hitting 300 of the last 30 games or whatever it is. I don't even know. But the number to me that I care about more is what he's doing with runners in scoring position. And he is god awful this year in that category. Would you agree?
He's been bad. I agree.
And it's not just a little
thank you for the super
sample size. That's 104 at bats this year with runners in scoring position.
He's been terrible with runners in scoring position. I do agree. But again, it's like, I don't really care that he had one game where he went 0 for 4. I mean, I care because every game matters, but to me, it didn't boil down probably to Xander Bogarts. Maybe it did. It probably boiled down to the entirety of the game. Combination of Sears, combination of the offense failing to come through first and second, nobody out in the first inning.
We haven't gotten
right. Combination of not scoring against the bullpen, 3 1/3 innings against. I mean, it's not all. I mean, it's part of a story that can be. Gavin Sheets hasn't done shit in a long time.
That's why he's getting less playing time.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't put it. I get the point. Bogarts has struggled with runners in scoring position. There's no doubt, but I've actually been mildly encouraged by the way Bogarts has played over the last 20 or 30 or honestly probably longer than that, 30 or 40 or 50 days, truthfully. Janet, thank you for the super. Janet says, why can't Matsui get sent down to the minors? I think he can get sent down to the minors. I don't know what options. Why wouldn't he be able to? Why wouldn't he be able to? What's the reasoning? There's no major league deal that says you can't be sent down to the minors. He's not a 5 and 10 guy. So I think he can. It's probably because of what he makes and because of his role would be my guess. But I think he could technically. I mean, if there's someone that would be sent down in their bullpen, it would be him. Wandy Peralta's pitched really well. He makes more money than Yuki Matsui. Listen, you got to have a guy like Matsui in your bullpen. You have to have guys pitch when you're trailing because you don't want to have 9 guys that only pitch with 2-run leads. You're not going to use them. Yeah, so you have to have someone like that in your bullpen.
Can't have like all-star relievers up and down. Like every reliever in your bullpen's an all-star. You can't have that.
So they say it's in his contract. I didn't know you could have that written into a deal. You can't be sent down. I've never heard of that. So he has to be approved being sent down. That doesn't mean he can't be sent down. When you struggle, players, I mean, he might actually prefer the option to be sent down.
Also, the thing with Yuki Matsui tonight, Padres scored 2 runs. This game was over when Yuki Matsui was in there. He allowed a solo home run. It didn't matter.
Right.
It wasn't like he went in there with the game tied and gave up a 4 spot. Yeah.
Because he's never in those spots. He's got a 5.18 ERA. This is who he's been. He's allowing more than a run every 2 innings. So that's who he's been. So I'm not overly concerned with Matsui because he's never going to pitch to protect a 3-2 lead ever, unless it's the 13th inning in the postseason. JD's third, thank you, man, for the super chat. He says, Sears, Roebuck, and Company extinct. Yeah, you're not kidding. I saw some of those memes on social media here tonight.
Yeah.
Andrew, thank you, man, for the super chat. He says, Sears was a total throw-in, won't start again. He might not. I mean, who knows? I mean, out of Vasquez, Sears, Waldron, Cortez, someone's pitching. Like, someone's going to have to make 10 starts for this team in the second half of the year. So if Cortez struggles, then you're going to see Vasquez. Or if Sears struggles, then you're going to see someone else. So someone's going to make these starts. I promise you that. So I don't know if we've seen the last of Sears, but I do think there's a scenario and a likely one where he's probably pitching in AAA next.
Yeah, it just puts more pressure on the offense to score some runs when those guys are out there pitching, because you can't count on those guys to give you, 6 innings of 2 runs or less. You gotta go out
with the return of King, I think it changes the conversation a little bit on the rotation too, because you're only going to be using any one of that combination once every 5 days, right?
Yep, 100%. You got a rotation of King, Pivetta, Darvish, Cease, and Nestor Cortez.
Right.
And on paper, that's a pretty damn good rotation, especially if Nestor Cortez can pitch anything like he did with the Yankees. Was either last year? I think it was last year. In the regular season?
We talked about this. It was in the regular season last year with the Yankees in 174 and a third innings. He had a 3.77 in the American League, a 2.6 WAR.
Yep. He was fantastic last year. Take away the home run he gave up in the World Series to Freddie Freeman, but not with that withstanding, like, he was really good last year. And if he's anywhere close to what he did with the Yankees last year in the regular season, like we just said, then you're right. The rotation, you're not looking at 2/5 of your rotation being times where you got to put up some runs on the board every time out because you can't trust your starter. JP Sears likely will be sent down. He won't be in this rotation. This might have been his only start. And if he pitched well, maybe it would give them a little leeway to push back King. But I think they're kind of just going full steam ahead with King regardless. So this was his probably only shot this year to pitch at the big league level, unless someone gets hurt. And he wet the bed. So you won't see JP Sears probably again for this team if the rotation stays healthy.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, rosters expand. I don't know. I mean, we said that with Vasquez the other day. I just don't know. But you're right. With a healthy rotation, maybe someone becomes a long man when you go to 28 and Vasquez or Sears comes up. But it's a fair point. And by the way, Cortez in 2022, and I know that's 3 years ago, how this happened. He was 12-4 with a 2.44, 158 in the third innings, 108 hits allowed for the Yankees in 2022. He was an all-star. I mean, that's just unbelievable. So if I'm going to bet on one over the other, Cortez or Sears, I mean, Cortez has done it. Now, he's coming off an injury, but Cortez has done it. There's reasons to believe he can hopefully make a handful of starts for you in the major leagues in the second half of the year if he's healthy. Gavin, appreciate you, man. He says maybe they want to start the trend of lose the first game and win the next 2. We'll be fine. DeVries, too. I wouldn't go as far as DeVries, too, but I think they're totally fine. And everyone the Reds won tonight. Okay. And everyone else, teams lose. Mets lost. Dodgers lost. I mean, this every night someone's winning and someone losing. Just because the Reds won tonight and the Padres lost does not cause crazy reasons for alarm for me. It really just doesn't. I'd be lying if it did. They just have to play to their capability. Like I said today on John and Jim, are they going to win every series remaining this year? No. You don't want to drop a series to Arizona. We don't even know if they will. Let's see what happens tomorrow and Wednesday. But I'm not overly concerned based on any one result, even with Cincinnati winning tonight.
No, I'm not concerned. Like big picture after this start for this season. I think tonight you go up against a pitcher who you have not done well against this year. He shoved last time, pitched well this time. Arizona's just
It's weird.
It's just a weird place to play for this Padres team.
Yep, it is.
Now if they lose 5 of 6, then we're like, what's going on? Right?
100%. No, I completely agree. That's exactly my thought process. You're 100% right.
Yeah. So we'll
But
see.
They haven't.
And they haven't. And we are entering the dog days. So this is the time of the year where you got to really focus as a team, and you got to get through August on the other side in a good spot. So September, you can make a real push here for either the division or a top wild card spot. But you can't slip up here in August. You just can't. And even if they did slip up, they do have a pretty soft landing on the other side of this in September. But I'm more so looking at like, hey, you made all these moves and you are clearly all in once again for like the third time, right? I think I would, again, you make the postseason, you can't be disappointed about making the postseason. But if they made it as a 6 seed after making all these moves, wouldn't you feel a little like, huh, okay.
Yeah, I think they're capable of doing better than that. And I also agree with, I think what Mike Schilt said pregame either or postgame Sunday or pregame today, which is like, it'll shake out over a little bit of time. Let's find out what's right for this group in terms of lineups and bullpen usage and rotation. I think let's give it the runway. Let's give it the 2 weeks and see what it looks like after they've played the Dodgers a couple of times and maybe the Giants a couple of times as well. We're going to get back to this conversation in a moment. We do want to thank our title sponsor here on the Wrap-Up Show, Mark Nimitz, who has been with us since day one of the Wrap-Up Show. If you have an insurance need, get in contact with Mark, whether it's auto or home or renters or life. I've got 3 insurance policies through Mark. Trust us. He's a terrific insurance agent. He can save you money and time. If you ever need him, he's going to be there for you. Lifelong San Diegan, lifelong Padres fan. So if you support this channel, please support our title sponsor. Click that link in the description down below and get free quotes online. And really what separates Mark from everyone else is just his service and communication. I had to file a claim a couple of years ago. He just took care of everything. So I've got homeowners and earthquake and life insurance. He does auto as well. The next time you have a renewal, before you renew, get in contact with Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance and get free quotes online or by calling Mark. Click that link in the description down below.
Yeah, all his information's on that ticker there, mnimitz at farmersagent.com. And you reach out to Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap-Up Show sent you.
All right, so make your way in here and subscribe. I think we're 18 subscribers away from 9,100. So please subscribe to this channel. Let's get to 9,100 subscribers. Padres fall in the desert 6-2. We're going to get to all of your super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. Carlos has showed up. Carlos, what's going on, man? This is where we started the show, dude. We said the same thing, and we completely agree. The season is 100% over. I think he's being facetious, but he did follow up by saying that he was out of town this weekend. But why was O'Hearn an all-star not in the lineup tonight? Makes no sense. Also, Sears shit the bed, but hope he goes to AAA. I mean, we kind of laid out the lineup, right? I mean, we've talked about how they can platoon. You know, you're going to get Sheets in there against right-handed pitching. And I get playing Laureano the way they've played him, by and large. So I think O'Hearn's like your super guy, so to speak. He's coming off your bench. He's platooning, and I don't think they're going to use him every single day, but I think he's got a lot of value. He pinch hit in this game, flat out to right. He was representing the tying run, whenever that was, in the 6th or 7th inning.
Yeah, I personally would like to see O'Hearn just starting every game against a right-handed pitcher. Sheets has been a really nice story for this team, and he's had a really good season for them. He has struggled a lot lately, and I know that they wanted to get him obviously a start and make sure he's not just completely cold on your bench, and you're going to cycle through guys, and you're not going to sit Arise off a 16-game hitting streak. Like, that's just lunacy, right? Or else you would have said, and maybe tomorrow, since Arise went 0 for 4, you do give him a day off his feet, and you give him you have Sheets and O'Hearn in there at the same time. But I doubt that will happen. Like, they're the last thing after going 0 for 4. coming off a 16-game hitting streak is like to bench the guy for a game.
Yeah,
just,
100%. If anything, he would DH.
Yeah, so it's it's obviously a good problem to have. I just think that when you trade for O'Hearn and Laureano, like those guys have to be in the lineup every single day against a righty.
Yeah, I buy it.
I just think that, and honestly, the lineup as it's constructed right now with Tatis, Arise, Manny, Merrill, Bogarts, I think I would flip that. I would probably move Xander down to 7. I would put Laureano at 5, and then I would have a 4, 5, 6 of Merrill, Laureano, and O'Hearn.
I think in time you're going to probably or possibly get there, and I get it. O'Hearn hits right-handed pitching. The theory being like, hold on, you're going to sit a guy that hits right-handed pitching. I would just say heading in, like in the Mike Schilt defense, is that heading in offensively, they played well. So it's not like they had to get O'Hearn in there to create offense. Coming in, they'd scored 44 runs in their last 6 games. I mean, they'd clearly been a better offense in the second half of the year until they weren't. And then O'Hearn had his opportunity and flat out to right. But I think it's a fair point. I really do, from Carlos. He follows up by saying, really like for me and great character and glove. How about the freaking caught stealing? I mean, a complete like stream of milk. So he's a very competent backstop. I promise you that. He's a very sound defensive player, and his bat plays better than what they've had from Diaz and Maldonado. So I don't think he's the best catcher in baseball, but I think he's a very sound catcher that they are elevating. I read something at ESPN.com, I think today, that like, hey, the Padres basically, they wanted to give Fermin an opportunity to be an everyday catcher on a really good team. Mm-hmm. And they believe that he's capable of doing that. And they feel like he was underutilized, or that he was capable of being a really good player on a really good team. And we're going to see if it's true or not. I mean, this is their scouting. This is their risk, to your point. You give up a couple of starting pitchers for this player who you've got that's under control for multiple years. They think he should be elevated and given this opportunity. And I think through a couple of games, there's been some good. It hasn't been perfect, but there's been some good in there. And you can see some of what they were maybe forecasting or seeing.
100%. Yeah, it's an upgrade. It's a risk to trade away the 2 pitchers you did for him, because you hope that Fermin does prove them right on that. But we'll see. It is an upgrade over Maldonado. I'm just glad that we aren't having to watch Martin Maldonado catch like every game or every other game.
100%. Hammerhead, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super. If you guys are here, please subscribe, whether you're here live or on replay. And thank you for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. He says, when would have DeVries played or stuck with Xander? In terms of like this year, never. In terms of next year, presumably, maybe would have had an opportunity with the Padres out of camp. But a lot of people thought Xander was going to be your starting shortstop in 2026, certainly as well. So maybe you're thinking more what, late 26, early 27? If he stayed, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say earliest full-time would be 2027.
Probably.
I mean, you could have a cup of coffee in 26, but kid's 18. My guess is he's up at 20. So a couple more years. And yeah,
I think with the Athletics, he could be up next year.
Oh, definitely. The A's. But the thing is, he might have to switch positions
because of the whole Wilson thing.
Because they got Wilson at short. Guy's a stud. Yeah. Now he's hurt for them now, but he's not. DeVries isn't coming up this year. Do they move him to second?
I don't know.
And have DeVries and Wilson as your up the middle, or do you move him to an outfield spot? That's another question they're going to have. Here it would have been an easy, like, you're the shortstop of the future, Xander, you're over to second or even first. With the A's, they're obviously they'll worry about the position later. They just wanted the talent.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I mean, we might see him in the big leagues to start 2026 with the Padres. It could have been at some point in 2026 to the super chat's point. G Rock, and thank you, man, for the super. He says, is it time to move Tatis out of the top spot, move Ramon to top spot, average 20 points better than Toddy, also his power and speed? Thoughts? I mean, you tweeted about Tatis tonight. We talked to Kevin Acee today. again, is he fully healthy? We had this whole conversation last night about Tatis. He does enough to like not take you down that path, but he also doesn't do enough to take you down that path, if that makes sense. He'll come, he walks all the time or he's got a base hit, but he's also been flying out to the warning track a ton over the last week, including in this game. He flat out to deep center.
Ninth.
What's that?
407 tonight in the ninth inning.
Well, I could have used more since it's 407 to that marker.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about Tatis, where to bat him. If you put him in the 4 or 5 spot, does he all of a sudden hit for power and drive the ball? Because that's basically his job, and that's not his job right now. Because his job right now is to get on base. I don't know if it's as simple as that or not.
What's a bummer is if Tatis played to his potential, man, the ceiling's high for this team.
You think?
I mean, God, the ceiling for this team is so high if just Fernando Tatis Jr. played up to his ceiling and everybody else was doing what they're doing right now. Mm-hmm. Just him alone playing at MVP level, which he has done before, which is we thought like this is what we're going to get for the next 5, 6, 7 years. It just changes the whole dynamic of everything with this club. But when he goes from a top 10 hitter in the sport to like, he's like the 62nd best hitter in baseball. Now it's a struggle because he'll show you some flashes here and there, but nothing to the extent of what we've seen from Tatis before when he would just at any moment go off. Kevin says something today that I kind of disagree with him with is like, oh, Fernando Tatis Jr. is one of the most feared hitters to every opposing team in baseball.
He said he's their most feared hitter in their lineup, according to their opponents.
Okay, sure, I guess, but
yeah, I don't see it either. I mean, I'm all for. Honestly, I'm not opposed to moving Tatis, and I've been a big proponent of batting him leadoff. But like at some point, you may want to try something else just to see, because you have the time to do it now. Maybe you can unlock something greater in both Tatis and your lineup potentially. And there's really no harm, no foul in doing it. It's not like you're taking the bat out of his hands by batting him cleanup. That's not what you'd be doing.
The thing with Fernando Tatis Jr. is remember a time where every single Tatis at bat was a must watch at bat?
Yeah, it was called 2019 through 2021.
Yeah, now I'm like, he's just going to ground out.
Like, is he going to walk? Is he going to flail? Is he going to throw the bat? Is he going to get hit on the arm?
Yeah, I'm like, Tatis is up. I'll go to the bathroom real quick. It's like, I'm not worried about missing a Tatis at bat because he's lost at the plate offensively. Defensively, he can do stuff. You're like, holy shit. But at the plate, he's lost that, like, wow, like that moment type of feel where you're like, at any moment, this guy at the plate could do something amazing. He's lost that as a player. And I think that has to be concerning if you're the Padres for the long term, because this ain't just like a 2-month problem, dude. This is like a 3-year problem. This is who Tatis has turned into offensively at the plate. It's nice that he is drawing walks and getting on base, but he's not stealing 50 bags for you. Right?
No, dude. I mean, he's hit 4 home runs since May 28th. I don't care if you're the leadoff hitter or if you're a two-way player in pitching. I mean, 4 home runs since May 28th for Fernando Tatis Jr. is complete insanity.
Yeah.
And Mauricio follows up with this: says, curious, who are your favorite players? Jim, Merrill, John, Nando. Thanks. I mean, listen, Nando's testing me. He really is.
Those cards you bought of his.
Yeah, I think I only have really one, but he's just he certainly has not lived up to his potential, which is the worst thing you can possibly say about a superstar. There is nothing worse you can say about a player than not living up to your potential when you see it. That's honestly, I mean, I truly believe that. So he has to get back to where he was somehow, some way. And I'm not saying now because I don't think it's happening now, but in 2026 or 2027 or beyond, I think the injuries have taken a huge toll on his ceiling, is my guess. I still think he's a very good player. I just think his ceiling has been limited because of some of the injuries that he's dealt with. Shoulder, wrist, broken leg, for example, come to mind. So I love Fernando Tatis Jr., but I think I love Fernando Tatis Jr. of 2020 more than I love Fernando Tatis Jr. of 2025. And that's a long time ago in professional sports.
Yeah. And, if Tatis in the postseason hits like 7 home runs on the way to a World Series,
That would
then
be cool.
guess what? That's great. Nobody cares that he hit 22 home runs in a regular season, and the guy can't ever put an MVP season together again. Go out and do that in the postseason, then like all's forgiven, right? That's how you make it up for what you did to this team back in 2022. Because right now in the regular season, I just don't see it. I really don't. I don't see him touching 40 home runs again. Hope I'm wrong. I don't know. He's just at the plate. Like, oh, well, his underlining numbers, Jim. He hits the ball hard, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's great. But you know what? The numbers are the numbers. His production, just not the same. He's not the same offensive player that he was. That's it. End of discussion. And if anybody wants to disagree with me, then I'll have a lot of numbers to show you compared to the numbers before his PED suspension and his injuries.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking. I get it. The Savant page is good because he's a good player, but the Savant page isn't. It's no longer top 1% stuff that we saw his first 3 years in the big leagues. Has become more top 20% stuff. And again, the expectations for this player were to be a multiple-time MVP and a Hall of Famer potentially, and like he's a long way to go from anywhere near that type of player. Key, thank you, man. He says, what about Cronenworth? He has sucked for 3 years. No, he hasn't sucked for 3 years. I think that's an over exaggeration. I think Cronenworth has actually been fine this year. And I think you're right. I mean, he has struggled over parts of the last couple of years, but I think Cronenworth has probably been an asset to this offense over the course of 2025, truthfully.
Dude, if your 8-hitter has a 731 OPS,
maybe solid.
Take it. Like, you guys remember what this team's 8th hitter had here for the last 2, 3, 4 months? OPS in the 500s.
Yeah.
So upgrade. You're not putting them 3rd or 4th in this lineup. You're putting them 8th.
That's right.
Yeah. So I got no problem with Jake hitting 8th, doing that.
I agree with that. We'll get back to the conversation, guys, in a moment. Do want to thank our friends over at SeatGeek. They've got a terrific offer for our viewers here on the Wrap-Up Show. Use our promo code PADSWRAP. That's Pods Wrap for $20 off your first order of $50 or more at SeatGeek. You heard me right. $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more at SeatGeek with promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Just click the link in the description, download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. And we thank our friends over at SeatGeek. Again, the Padres, listen, they'll be home this weekend, so you can get there in just a couple of days. And you can get in against the Boston Red Sox, for example, on a Friday night and sit in section 235. And you can do it for $86, including fees. So 2 tickets, that would be $172. Take $20 off. That's $152. And again, it's an incredible offer. $20 off your first order of $50 or more over at SeatGeek, whether it's the Padres or any event going on in San Diego or elsewhere. Make sure to turn to our friends at SeatGeek by clicking that link in the description down below.
Yeah, and SeatGeek is MLB's official ticket marketplace. So your tickets, they're fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after purchase. All you got to do is use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek for your first order.
All right, John and Jim with you here on the Wrap-Up Show. Again, the Padres lose game 1 in Arizona tonight. 6-2.
And the season's over.
And I mean, I think you take the step back, you're like, well, they're 7-2 in their last 9 games. Right. They have certainly made some improvements that we expect over the course of time to provide value. That's the one thing with baseball you have to be very careful with. It plays out over time. The difference between a 600 winning percentage and 550 is 1 win over 20. So when you consider that, you have to have the perspective of time. Mm-hmm. Because again, the difference between a 600 team over the course of a year and a 550 winning team over the course of a year is 1 additional win every 20 games. So I truthfully think they'll reap the rewards of the moves. I really do. Now, I'm not saying they're winning World Series or getting to one. I have no freaking clue. That is not for us to be able to say on August 4th. I don't think AJ Preller can say it, or anyone in baseball truly knows. Now, listen, the Dodgers remain leaving doors open. Okay. They lose tonight at home, for example, to St. Louis. This is no perfect ball club playing in Los Angeles. Not to say the Padres are either. Doesn't mean the Padres win this division because LA's not as good as they've been previously. And we don't know if the Dodgers win the division and the Padres beat them in the postseason or vice versa. I'm just saying that I think we all feel the same way. They're 11 games over 500. Their offense has been better since the All-Star break. The improvements they made, we think, pay dividends. And let's see where it takes them. Does it take them to the 6 seed, 4 seed, division? But I'm more confident today than I was 3 weeks ago. I really am, because I've seen indicators, offense and the trade deadline. So I remain relatively confident.
Yeah, and I'll double down today on John and Jim. I was arguing that, the Padres potentially right now, you could argue that they have one of, if not the best roster in baseball. I think when Michael King gets back, it's only going to solidify that if he pitches well.
Yeah.
And so on paper is one thing, going out and proving it is another. But how could you not like the position they're in with the roster they have? They're going to have nights like this. You're going to lose games. It's disheartening because it's like, oh, we get to see the shiny new toy. JP Sears is not really a shiny new toy, but I mean, he's part of one of the biggest trades in franchise history. So going out there and seeing a piece of one of the biggest trades in franchise history suck it on the mound tonight, and the other piece of that trade has only pitched 1 inning for you since the All-Star break, you're like, it's a little disheartening. But overall, with all the pieces together, Michael King back in the rotation, JP Sears not in the rotation. We'll see what Nestor Cortez does. O'Hearn, Laureano, Fermin in the lineup. Mason Miller back in the bullpen. When they do have leads, they'll use him. I do still think, as of right now, even though they lost tonight, tonight's game sucked, they have one of the better rosters currently in baseball.
It's listen, I mean, I like the roster too. It's got to be done on field, like we all know. I mean, O'Hearn and Laureano, as good as they were in Baltimore, have to be those players.
Yep.
I go back to Josh Bell. You talk about one of the biggest trades in franchise history. Josh Bell was in that trade. Josh Bell was utterly horrific.
He sucked.
Now, he had some moments in the postseason, make no mistake, including at Citi Field. But like in just pulling it up right now, he had a negative 0.5 WAR. He hit 192 with a 587 OPS after hitting 301 with an 877 OPS.
He sucked
with the Nationals. I mean, think about that. His OPS dropped 300 points. His batting average dropped 110 points. My point is there's no certainties here. Not to say O'Hearn and Laureano can't be terrific, or Fermin, or Mason Miller, or whomever else. But there's no guarantee, and these adjustments are real. You take players and pluck them off teams and move their families and lives and put them in new clubhouses and expect them to perform at the same level. It can happen. Or players can have dips in production. So this is not fantasy baseball, and we'll see how it all shakes out. Is the point. We said this the day of the trade deadline. We like them on paper, and you're making that point right now. You like the roster on paper. Mm-hmm. Let's see what it looks like in real life. Like, what happens in these 6 games against the Dodgers? Do they look better than we saw them in the 7 games earlier when they went 2-5, or not? Yeah. We'll know in 2 weeks.
Yep. If the Padres win the next 2 games here against the DBacks, then tonight won't matter at all.
Completely. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, 2 out of every 3 from here on out. Yeah. Maybe you're winning. Maybe you've won the division. I don't know. It's dependent on LA. But what would that be? 32-16? Yeah. I mean, you're very capable of winning the division doing that. And that's going to be hard to do, to play like that. But I mean, listen, the thing that is encouraging is this, the fact that Michael King might return this weekend. Now, I don't know what to expect. Coming off 3 1/3 innings, 6 earned runs, 61 pitches in AAA. But even Kevin Acee, when we had him today, we touched on this briefly, was surprised. But we theorized last night on the wrap-up show, are they really going to throw him in against the Dodgers for his first Major League Baseball outing since May? And it sounds like they probably won't. Now, it could be a second outing, or he could miss them, depending on days. But it looks like they're going to get him this weekend against the Boston Red Sox in one of the quicker ramp-ups that I can kind of recall, truthfully. This has happened all in 2 weeks.
Yeah, if he comes back and pitches well, then that's great. They bring him back early, but you are running a little bit of a risk that it might take him a couple starts to get back to the Michael King that we know. And his second start would be against the Dodgers. So maybe that's what they're thinking, is lose a battle, win a war type of thing. Like, hey, we just want him back at the big league level, pitching for us. If he pitches well, that's awesome. But if he doesn't, then we're banking on his next start to be the start where he looks better and looks good, because it will be his 3rd time pitching for, the rehab start on the mound, and then the start this weekend, and then the next start would be against the Dodgers in LA, instead of having it be the first start in LA type of thing.
Right.
So
I'm also who's tomorrow? Is it Darvish? Did we say Darvish is tomorrow?
Darvish is tomorrow, and Cortez the Killer is on Wednesday.
Yes. I mean, the Darvish thing is, it's so telling because now that he's like changed his arm slot.
Well, we'll see if it works tomorrow too.
That's what I'm saying. How much of that now on film is replicatable? If he has the same amount of success, we're all in, right? He's back. Right. He's capable of hopefully pitching and staying healthy in the second half of the year and being an effective starting pitcher. But what if it's what it looked like before or somewhere in between? So I feel like Darvish needs to obviously show it to us again. Arizona still has a good lineup, even with the trades, even with Suarez being out. They still have a good lineup. It's still been a tough place to pitch historically for everyone, including the Diamondbacks. So Darvish, kind of a tricky series, truthfully. When you throw Sears, Darvish, who has been up and down, and that's putting it nicely. I'm saying that nicely with Darvish. And then Nestor Cortez, who hasn't pitched in the big league since what, April? I think it was like April 8th or April 9th or somewhere in there. I mean, that's there's a ton of question marks in there, and hopefully they come through, whether it's Darvish or Cortez or both of them. But I don't know. I mean, it's far from a certainty. And now they're going to have to be really good, these next 2 days. But I'm fascinated to see how Darvish pitches, and then I want to see Cortez make his debut too.
I do. I want to see all the pieces actually work. I want to see these pieces work and see, because if they don't work now, that's going to be tough. You know what I mean? I'm not saying all of them need to work, but you need to make sure that Mason Miller is going out there and contributing to this team on a pretty regular basis. You can't have him be sitting in the bullpen for a long stretch of time without using the guy. When you traded the number 3 overall prospect in baseball for Mason Miller, you need to use Mason Miller. And I get it, tonight was not a situation they were going to use him, but it's just thinking about it long term for this season. Ryan O'Hearn, you traded for the guy. He needs to be there every day. Sorry, every day against a righty, you got to have him in there every day. Gavin Sheets, thanks, but you traded for Ryan O'Hearn. Ryan O'Hearn is an all-star this year, and he's hit righties well. He's got to be in the lineup against righties. Ramon Laureano. Mm-hmm. He's out there every day. I think so far so good with him. Freddy Fine, they're turning into an everyday catcher. So far so good. We'll see about Cortez, JP Sears. Thanks, but you're obviously going to be thrown down to the minors because you suck tonight and you're not that good of a pitcher. So yeah, we'll see. But the one thing is, I hope these moves work out. Hope they work out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the key at any deadline. They have to work out. You're 100% right. Now they've got all these super pen relievers available tomorrow that weren't used today. So again, if you jump out to a lead, you feel unbelievable. But then if you lose a game or 2 or 3 in a row, it does get a little wonky because you don't want to use these players when you're trailing by 3 runs. Obviously, like you said, I mean, you weren't using Mason Miller tonight. Then what happens tomorrow if you're in a situation where you're trailing? Where do you turn? And ultimately, you're going to have to turn to some of these players. It's a delicate balance. You want to use your high leverage pieces because they help you win, but you also want to be in a position to get their best later, which is a very delicate balance. We all know how pitching works. You're 1 pitch away from anything happening, right? Things change in an instant when it comes to pitching. So there's this very delicate balance. And I kind of want us to get into the routine to see how it plays out. What does this look like 12 days from now when they're through a series or 2 against the Dodgers? And how do they utilize the weapons they have against some of these top teams in the National League or in Major League Baseball? That, to me, is the part that is going to be really fun to watch because you're going to then get a glimpse into the postseason, potentially. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, look how they won that second game at Dodger Stadium. Oh, that's pretty interesting. They didn't allow Cease to get a 3rd time through, and they did it in August, for example. And then boom, boom, boom. They used all their bullets, and it worked. Or they allow Cease to work deeper, and you're like, why'd they do that? Or he only works 2 times through the rotation, and the bullpen falters against a very good lineup like LA. So there's just so many things that can happen, and I want to see how it all transpires in the days ahead.
Yep. I still think that this team is poised for a second half run. I mean, they just had a 5-1 homestand, and they won 6 in a row, and they looked really good, and they were scoring a bunch of runs. So tonight, scoring 2 runs, little like back down to earth a little bit here. And it will take a little bit of time to, you're right, everybody get in their own routines and get ready to go, especially for the guys that are traded. I mean, can't even think how much of a whirlwind experience that is to be traded in the middle of the season and expected to produce like right away for a winning team, right? But we are in the sprint mode now. We're less than 60 games remaining in this season. How many games remaining, John?
Less than 50.
Okay, less than 50 games left in this season. It's go time. We can't sit here and be like, you know what? We'll talk to you on August 25th to see how they're doing. Like, no, every game, especially if you're going for the division, like, it's go time, dude. It is go time. There's no waiting around. There's no, let's see how this thing plays out, and we'll talk on August, whatever. No, it's go time. They got to pick it up. That end of story.
I mean, they kind of have picked it up. That's the thing. And I agree.
I'm saying yes, it's go time. Continue what they're doing. And if they falter here and they lose like 5 of 7 or whatever, we can be like, oh, well, you know what? Wait till August 25th before we just make we start talking about this team. Let them get into the groove of thing. Bro, less than 50 games, it's sprint time. Continue to play good baseball. Don't falter. It's go time.
Yeah, I mean, again, I kind of disagree with JD's third. He says we're getting ahead of ourselves one game at a time. Wild card just tightened today. Got to focus on being consistent with offensive runners in scoring position. I mean, yeah, every game matters, but you know what? If they end up outside looking in, I mean, how many things have gone wrong? A lot has gone wrong.
I'm not even going on that path. Don't feel that way.
Yeah, it's not going to be like, well, they weren't consistent. No, the wheels fell off. I'm sorry. I mean, even if Cincinnati goes on some historic run, that doesn't mean you can't outplay like the New York Mets or someone in the Central. So there's multiple paths for the Padres to the postseason, and right now they're in a favorable position, which is 3 games better than a team chasing them. But yes, things can change, and there's a lot of baseball to be played. But would I prefer to be in San Diego's position or Cincinnati's? It's not probably that close. Padres have the better roster and the better record, and are 3 games out of the division. They're as close to the Dodgers as the Reds are to them. A lot of baseball. Nobody's getting ahead of anything other than to say there's a lot of baseball remaining, which can be beneficial or detrimental depending on how they play.
I just want to look this up real quick because we looked this up on Friday. Right? Yeah, Friday. And let's see if anything's changed. I'm looking at their playoff odds. So Friday it was like 89% or 87%.
I'd say it's still in the 80 range.
Interesting. So their playoff to make the playoffs on what was it? What was Friday? The 1st?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So on August 1st, their playoff chances was at 88.7%.
Mm-hmm.
To win the division, it was at 12.8%. That was on August 1st, day after the deadline.
Okay.
Now, on August 4th, let me just do this real quick. One more. All right. On August 4th, John, their playoff chances, according to Fangraphs, is 87.6%.
Yeah.
So it's gone down.
Every day you take off the calendar. But every day you take off the calendar, you're a day closer.
And their odds to win the division is at 12.9%.
So it's gone up.
Yeah. It's gone up a little bit. Their chances to clinch a wild card berth is at 74.7%. And their chances to win the World Series keep on going up. Right now, it sits at 6%. It was before the deadline
like 1%.
It was lower than 2%. It was like 1.8. And it's jumped up to 6% now. Their odds to make the playoffs were at this time last week like in the mid to high 60s. Now it's in the high 80s, damn near almost 90% to make the postseason, according to Fangraphs. So I just wanted to check on that out.
Yeah, and it can change quick. I mean, they win. I'll give you an example. They win game 1 against the Dodgers, and let's say they move from 3 games out to 2 games out. The next time they play, their chance to win the division all of a sudden go from 13% to 23%. But then if you lose game 2, you're back to 14%. So there's going to be a ton of movement, but it does suggest the Padres are very much in play for a lot, which includes postseasons, divisions, and dare we say even World Series. I mean, a 6% chance of winning World Series is that's nowhere near zero. I mean, that's really not bad. In the history of the Padres franchise, that would be among the better percentage chance you have of winning World Series in early August. We can get back to this conversation, but do want to thank our partners at Underdog Fantasy for their support of the wrap-up show. And you can play along. The best and easiest place to play fantasy sports is over at Underdog. If you use our promo code PODSWRAP, that's PADSWRAP, you're getting that 50% deposit match up to $1,000 and a free gimme pick. What does a free gimme pick look like? It looks like Paige Beckers tomorrow higher or lower than a half total point, not 18.5 total points, for example. It's so simple and easy to play. You just pick higher or lower. You can do so across all sports, WNBA, NBA, MLB, NFL, college football, so on and so forth. We can play Darvish tomorrow, higher than 4.5 strikeouts. I will not click higher than a half home run for Fernando Tatis Jr., even though I just did it. And I will not click higher than a half home run for Corbin Carroll, even though I just did it. So if those things happen, you're walking out with $671. Now, even if one of those things doesn't happen, you can still win big if you flex the play at Underdog. So use the promo code PADSWRAP. Click the link in the description down below. Get the free gimme pick and the 50% deposit match up to $1,000.
Scan the QR code right here to download the Underdog Fantasy app. It will take you to the App Store. Download the Underdog Fantasy app. Once you download, use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Start playing today. Start winning money today.
No doubt. Final super here from JD's Third says, it's go time, y'all. It is 100%.
Go time.
It's a good time of year. September will be here before we know it.
Every series win will feel great. Every series loss will feel like the end of the world. This is the time of the season when, when you are as bunched up as the National League is, every win and loss feels like the end of the world or the greatest thing ever. It's just, Padres aren't afforded with like a 15-game lead in the division to where we are just gearing up for the postseason. While it does feel like this team will make the postseason this year, and I would be very shocked at this point if this team doesn't, they still got to go out there and get it done,
Yeah, completely. Yep. No, they do. I mean, they'll have to play well enough. You're not going to walk in by going 21-28, for example.
Right.
And nobody's feel confident if they somehow backdoor in going 21-28. I mean, you're not going to feel like they're about to win the World Series. So they got to play well. How well? We'll see. Last year they played extremely well, and they were positioned to potentially make a deep run until they weren't in the NLDS. All right, join us tomorrow. We're back on the air. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 at 2 p.m. We'll get you ready for game 2 of this 3-game series. So join us. We'll have 4 hours for you from 2 to 6. We'll hear from Mike Schilt pregame. We'll have full reaction to game 1. We'll look ahead to game 2, and then, of course, we'll be back with you tomorrow night as well on the wrap-up show. And, yes, thank you, Par 3s Club. Check out that website, by the way, par3s.club. Check out the really cool merch that we're rocking. I'm rocking. We're going to have this giveaway for you guys coming up sooner rather than later as well. Check out all the gear at par3s.club, and we appreciate your support of the channel.
We're 18 away from 9,100.
18. So please subscribe. If you are here right now live or on replay, subscribe. Let's get to 9,100 together. Smash the like button. Follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for the super thanks if you're here on replay. Thank you to those that have become members, including Par 3's Club. Support our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, our friends at Humul Casino, SeatGeek and Underdog Fantasy as well. Padres lose game 1 in Arizona, 6-2. Back tomorrow for game 2. For Jim, I'm John. This has been the wrap-up show. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Season's over.